The second I walk into my parents' house, I sense it right away. Something is wrong. The room feels heavy, like the pause before a storm breaks loose. Mom greets me with a grin, too forced. Dad squeezes my hand too firmly. My brother Lucas bounces in his chair, eyes darting like he knows a secret and cannot wait to spill it. "We are so glad you came tonight, Emma," Mom says as she steers me toward the dining room. Her hand presses firmly against my back, like she is guiding me to something I cannot escape. The table is set with her finest dishes and the polished silver only used on special days. A vase of bright flowers sits in the middle, like this was all carefully staged. I sit across from Lucas. His grin reminds me of when we were kids and he set up a trick only he thought was funny. Dad slices the roast, while Mom hands out sides, bread, and her famous rolls. That is when I notice it. A thick folder rests beside Dad's plate, half hidden under his napkin. My stomach turns. "How's your work going, Emma?" Mom asks, her voice way too cheerful. "Still keeping up those late nights?" "It's steady," I say, but my eyes flicker back to that folder. Dad notices. Lucas snickers quietly, almost like he knows exactly what is coming. Finally, Dad sets down his fork with a sharp clink. "Emma, we need to talk about the future of your studio." My fork pauses halfway to my mouth. The food suddenly tastes like dust. Mom leans in, her smile rehearsed. "Family businesses belong to family, dear. We want to keep the studio in safe hands." I remind them, calmly, I built it alone. Dad taps the folder with his finger. "And now, Lucas has prepared a proposal that could benefit us all." Lucas straightens his shoulders. "I have drafted a plan to manage your studio. I'll handle the paperwork and finances. You can focus only on your art. In return, I ask for 25% of the profits going forward." My pulse thunders in my ears. This is not dinner. It is an ambush. I think of nights I slept on the studio floor, painting until dawn to pay rent. The years of loans piling high while I sent money home for Lucas and his endless college fees. "I already have a manager," I say firmly. Mom waves her hand as if I am a child. "But Lucas is the real people person. Remember how he charmed everyone at the gallery opening? You barely spoke." I remember too well. The speeches ignored, the credit taken by others. Lucas once worked the front desk and handed out discounts to his friends. I spent weeks fixing his mistakes while clients walked away frustrated. "May I see this plan?" I ask coldly. Dad pushes the folder toward me. Inside are neat pages of charts, percentages, and promises of growth. Lucas beams like he has already won. "It is solid work," Dad insists. "We only want the best for you." The words taste false in my mouth, because if they wanted the best for me, they wouldn't be handing my dream away. I fold the pages carefully and say, "I'll think about it." Lucas smirks like he knows my answer, but he has no idea. Because this studio is mine, and I will never let them take it. The table falls into silence. The sound of the clock fills the room. I place the folder back on the table without another word. Mom looks at Dad, her smile fading. Lucas shifts uncomfortably. I take a long sip of water and let them wait for my decision. But in my heart, I already know. They have underestimated me. This is not the first time, and it will not be the last. But I am ready for them now. This battle has only just begun. Lucas taps the table with a pleased smile. "The agreement is ready. My advisor drafted it. It only needs your signature. I can start tomorrow." He adds, like it is settled. "I already have ideas to redo your studio." I take a slow sip of water and set the glass down. exactly on the coaster, without a shake. Then I reach for my briefcase beside the chair. Before we go further, there is something you should see. My voice stays even and clear, a calm that makes Lucas blink. The latch clicks loud in the quiet room. I open the case and slide out a portfolio, the kind I bought after my first big commission. Dad watches, his easy smile fading. I set the leather binder on the table. Inside are contracts and letters of intent, proof that I stand on my own work. "What is this?" Dad asks with a tight voice. Mom glances between us, twisting our napkin. Lucas loses a bit of his glow as I line up the pages. Every sheet sits square on the wood. 3 weeks ago, I signed a service agreement with Front Range Creative Partners. They handle the admin for my studio, scheduling, payroll, procurement, and audits. Lucas blinks fast like he missed a step. I slide the signed copy across to Dad. Here is the effective date and scope. Here is the fee and renewal term. Dad reaches for the top page, scanning the lines. "You cannot decide this without us." "I can, and I did," I answer a level. "Please see section 4.3. No family member may serve in management unless the full board approves. The board is myself and 2 partner reps. Both have already signed." Lucas reddens. "You set this up to block me." "I set this up to protect the work. It is a decision based on history." I take out another slim folder. Inside are contract notes from last summer, from when you covered the front desk. I do not need to open it. The weight tells enough. 15 double bookings in 1 month, 23 price cuts given to friends, 31 invoice errors flagged by audit. Mom reaches out but stops short of my hand. "Emma, dear, everyone slips when—" These were not learning slips, I say. They were careless choices that cost trust. I place an itemized sheet on the stack, prepared by my accountant this week. It lists free sessions and supplies to family over 3 years at the studio. Canvas, frames, paints, rentals, staging, all written off by me. The room goes silent as the total sits there. Dad shifts in his chair and looks away. "I kept you covered while I ate noodles to make payments and rent on time. I worked nights to help Lucas in school when you said we could not fund us both. I slept on the studio floor to save cash and kept the lights on by taking rush jobs." My phone buzzes on the table. A text from my studio manager. "Did you tell them yet?" It reads. The timing could not be better, because my team saw that summer too. They stayed late to repair the mess while Lucas posted photos from parties and bragged about new contacts. I take a steady breath and meet each gaze. Here is what happens next. The service agreement stays in force. No family management, no exceptions. If you want to support me, respect the boundary. If not, the door is still there. The clock ticks loud enough to count. Dad shifts in his chair and looks at the claws again. Mom smooths the tablecloth with small strokes. Lucas shifts but says nothing. I slide the folder back to my side and close the briefcase with a soft click. I will always care about this family, but I will not give away my life. The studio stands because I built it, and I will keep it standing. Dad nods once, slow and careful. "We hear you," he says at last. It's not the victory he wanted, but it's the respect I needed. My manager texts again. "We're ready." I allow myself a small smile because this time I'm not alone. This time, the plan is mine, and the studio is protected for good. I lift my chin and let the silence hold. Rooftop photos and late-night parties. My team knows the truth about the Reed family. My mentor warned me years ago. Family and business do not mix well. I remember mentor Rowan saying it gently. She found me crying in the supply room after Dad skipped my studio opening. I should have listened sooner. I gather my papers with care. Each page slides into place, back into the portfolio in order, ready if this turns heated again. The method calms me like prepping supplies before a tough client session. We can negotiate, Dad says. His tone shifts from firm to careful. He sounds like a deal is slipping away. 20% instead of 25. A short trial period, perhaps? I close the portfolio with a clean snap. My studio is not your bank. It is my work. Mom lifts her hand to her throat, a practiced gesture from years of drama. I never thought you would choose work over family, she whispers. Her words reveal the core problem. In their view, my success exists for them, not as my achievement. I am not choosing work over family. I am choosing boundaries over exploitation. Lucas shoves back his chair. The legs scrape the hardwood. You are always dramatic, Emma. Acting like you did this alone. We always supported you, he claims. Supported me? I raise an eyebrow. Was it at my graduation when Dad took photos of you in my gown? Or at my studio opening when Mom told Mr. Carter I was just the art person there? Memories surface fast and sharp. Once they rise, they do not stop. My 12th birthday was a Tuesday. I aced a math test and got a single card. 2 weeks later, Lucas turned 10. He got a bright blue bike with streamers and a basket for little fines. I watched from the porch as he circled. Our parents clapped each wobbly lap. Emma, take a picture of your brother. Dad called and tossed me the camera. At my honors ceremony, no one came because Lucas had a slight cold. Your support was missing when it counted. I zipped my case closed. Dad stands, but he is not taller to me now. His height no longer chills me. You have changed, Emma, he says. Success has made you cold. Success made me visible, I answer. You do not know what to do with a daughter you cannot ignore. I lift my case, surprised by the lightness. It weighs less than the years I carried. For the first time tonight, I can breathe. My chest does not ache. I will see myself out. I turn and then pause at the hall. Next month, family sessions will be billed at standard rates, I add evenly. Our charity slots are for clients who truly cannot pay, not for those who simply prefer not to. Behind me, Mom gasps in shock. Dad mutters a curse under his breath. Lucas gives a theatrical sob. But their reactions do not pull me back. I do not return to the old dance. I step into the evening air. My phone buzzes again. We are here for you, my manager writes. For the first time, I believe it. That night at my apartment, memories stir. They play like old film in my mind. My 12th birthday returns in detail. A Tuesday in April and a math win. A single card leaned by my cereal bowl. 2 weeks later, Lucas rides a new bike. Teal paint shines in the sun. Streamers fly from the bars. A wicker basket for little treasures. I watch from the porch steps. He loops the driveway again and again. Each lap earns more clapping. Take a picture of your brother, Emma, Dad calls, and tosses me the camera. I steady my hands and frame him. I learn what it means to stand aside while everyone else celebrates the shine. I lift the camera. This feels like a big moment. I frame Lucas beaming in the sunlight. His hair catches the light as Dad checks the seat. Mom waves a handkerchief like a parade send-off. Everyone cheers like he is royalty. Later, I wash dishes while cake crumbs linger. Do you remember my first bike? I ask softly. Plates clink as water runs. Mom pauses with the sponge held midair. You were practical, Emma. You liked books. I nod, but my mind pictures circled catalogs, years of dog-eared pages with bright bikes. High school brings awards and medals, art prizes, juried shows, scholarship letters. The auditorium hums with proud parents. Bouquets rustle, cameras flash in rows. Mine slipped in 7 minutes late. They wave from the back as I sit down. Traffic was awful, Mom whispers. We need to leave for Lucas's recital. The pattern repeats across college years. Dean lists notes arrive to an empty house. I work double shifts to cover rent. Envelopes sit sealed on the counter. At art school graduation, I stand alone, until Lucas waves from across the quad. There you are, he laughs. He lifts my cap and sets it on himself. Dad wants photos of me in this, okay? I watch them pose and pose, their backs turned to my honor cords. My diploma case warms in my hands. Book smarts do not sell art, Emma, Dad says later, returning the cap. Years pass and I bend over my laptop. Midnight glow across a small desk. The studio was dark except my light. Invoices glare from the screen. Numbers stack like a brick wall. The payment due is larger than rent. I just sent $1,200 to Lucas, another emergency from another job switch. My apartment holds rescued furniture, a table with uneven legs, a threadbare couch. No matter how I clean, the air keeps a trace. My stomach growls in the empty studio. The bank officer words ring from morning. Without more collateral, we cannot approve. I nod and tuck the letter away. I do not say my parents refused to help. Bought Lucas a car for interviews, reliable wheels for the next plan. That night, the work table is my bed. I curl on the paper roll, a thin blanket over aching shoulders. 16 hours of back-to-back sessions, then receipts and forms until 2. At 5, the cleaners find me, still clutching a stack of spreadsheets. 6 months later, my studio opens. A space of my own, not a borrowed room. My parents drop by for 15 minutes, between a shower and a dinner booking. It is nice, Mom says, checking her watch. Like a real place. Dad scans my framed certificates. Remember, it is about people, not papers. They leave before the small toast. They miss the ribbon-cut photo. The local journal runs it next week. That summer, Lucas helps at the desk, and chaos follows close behind. Friends get discounts without approval. Regulars find their times moved. Some show up to locked doors. Others are dropped without a call. Forms pile in cricket stacks. The inbox overflows unchecked. We clean up after hours, day after day. We double-check every line item. By fall, my small team is exhausted, but still loyal to the work. They believe in the studio we built, and they believe in me. The memory hardens into resolve, a promise I refuse to break again. Protect the studio, protect the art, protect the life I earned. So tonight arrived. I was ready. Briefcase packed, papers in order, boundaries drawn in clear lines. No more open doors to pressure. The past taught me the cost, and I will not pay it twice. Lucas may not like the answer, but he finally heard the word no, and Dad finally paused to listen. That is a start, at least. The studio lights wait for me now, and for the first time, the way ahead feels clear. I find forms stuffed in drawers late at night, buried like secrets no one wanted to face. They were boring, Lucas says when confronted. Besides, those clients are old. They can wait. He shrugs, like time is not a promise. After he leaves, I start calling everyone, one voice at a time, to rebuild trust. Every apology is spoken without excuse. Slowly, the schedule steadies again. A turning point arrives without warning. During a meeting with the insurer rep, she has rejected 3 submissions already. Her face is stern across my desk. Your files do not meet our standards, she begins, but I slide a folder forward.
Revised protocols, I say calmly. Cross-reference to your latest guide. Each code matched, line by line. She turns pages, marked with careful notes. You built this yourself? She asks. 3 weeks of nights, I answer. Most providers argue, she admits, or they give up before they begin. 3 days later, the backlog is approved. Word spreads to partner clinics. Referrals rise as our records shine. We entered the black for the first time. 2 hard years to reach that month. I checked the numbers 3 times, then let myself believe them. No one is there to cheer, but the quiet feels like strength. I lock up, and the thought lands clear. Being unseen became an edge. While my family chased charm and noise, I built a base that holds. Years of patience and precise work now form the frame of a growing studio. Ellie, my manager, proves it again. She turns down a higher offer to stay. They do not value people like you do, she says and tears the letter in two. I have worked decades. This place is rare. Her voice is warm and sure. When Lucas's chaos hits the calendar, the team stays late without complaint. Pizza boxes stack as we clear the queue. We get this done together. Carlos, my lead, says near midnight, "Your brother is loud, but we are a team."
Each Friday, we start with the round table, wins and hurdles from the week. Every voice matters, even night crew. So different from family dinners, where my words were cut short. One Tuesday, the call arrives from a rehab center across town. We reviewed your outcome data. Our ortho team wants a partnership, the director says without preface. We set a time to meet and plan scope. That evening, we gather after hours, not to fix a mess, but to celebrate. 9 people now instead of 3. Paper cups and a store-bought cake. To Emma, Ellie calls with a grin, who saw paths where others saw walls. After they go, I stay a moment. I lift my first license from its frame. My fingers trace the raised seal. Tomorrow, it hangs in the larger lobby. A reminder that quiet work builds stone. 6 weeks after the family dinner, my corner office looks over the city, but I turn the desk to face the floor. Through glass, I watch the team move. Meredith guides a client through steps, slow, steady, careful, and kind. The rhythm of real progress fills the room. Not loud, but strong enough to carry. The front bell rings and Ellie waves. A delivery for the new wing. We sign and laugh over the checklist. A small team building a real thing. For once, the path ahead feels earned, and the work speaks louder than names. The city glows beyond the glass. Inside, the studio hums with life. I set the license down and smile. Then head back to the floor. Time to prepare the expanded reception. Clients will see what we have become. Not a favor, not a hobby, a studio built to last. I straighten a frame and breathe in. Fresh paint and hope in the air. Through the glass, I see movement. Meredith helps a client take one more step. Her hand steady and patient, and the room answers with quiet strength. Meredith shows a patience I try to model with every client I serve each day. It is a truth my family never grasped about what real healing requires. My office stays modest by choice, while the treatment rooms carry the best tools. Clients deserve the cutting edge. I work fine with a simple desk and chair. Every saved dollar goes where it matters, back into the care and the craft. I straightened the first studio sign on my wall. We saved it when we expanded last month. From 3 small rooms to 15. From just me to a team of 15. all aligned on client-first care. My phone buzzes for the third time today. It is Mom again. I silence it. I do not open the message. It will mirror the ones before. "Just checking in, dear," followed by a question about operations or a note about Lucas and his latest gap. The calls grew after I declined dinners 6 weeks in a row, without exception. Mom shifts between guilt and advice. "We never see you," and new discount ideas. Dad even rang my accountant last week. My warning call had set the boundary. Their boldest move came yesterday. Lucas arrived unannounced at peak time, waving a folder of big ideas, all requiring his full-time role. Mark at the front desk followed protocol, offered a seat, and called me at once. I did not leave my client session. The work came first and stayed first. Later, the sun warmed my desk. I opened the email I had rewritten for days, measured and clear and necessary. To family. I began with calm lines. As stated before, aftercare, I am setting professional boundaries regarding the studio and its operations. No family hiring or management input. All services billed at standard rates. Business talks are limited to my leads. I remain open to rebuild our bond, separate from my professional life. I hover over send and breathe. The office door opens with a soft knock.
Ellie steps in with 2 mugs. "Thought you might need backup," she smiles. She sets a coffee by my laptop. "I saw a post you should know about." I raise a brow. Ellie slides her phone. My mother's profile fills the screen. A photo from opening day 3 years back, her arm around me, a rare picture. Now I see how staged it always was. "So proud of my daughter and our family studio. We always believed in her skill," the caption reads. Hashtags claim family business and legacy. The post went up 20 minutes ago. "That tag is a choice," Ellie says gently. The phrase tastes bitter in my mouth. I press send and let the message go. They never paid $1 toward this place, never worked an hour inside these walls. They did not think it would last until it did. "The community notices the gap," Ellie says. "A doctor mentioned it when he sent a complex case last week." I look up, surprised and still. "He said he trusts what you built here. Not a hand-me-down, not a gift." Ellie taps my first license on the shelf. "He likes how you credit the team instead of bragging about your past." I also recall a friend of Lucas in the lobby, phone held at a curious angle, watching us through the glass wall. I file that image for later review. The boundary email is now in motion, and the path ahead is set by my choice. Ellie squeezes my shoulder once, then heads back to the floor with a smile. I close the door gently and reopen my task list. New clients on board this afternoon, set schedules, and finalize supplies. The work is clear and honest, and it belongs to me. Outside, the studio hums alive. Inside, the air feels steady. I take one more calm breath and step back into the light, ready for the next client and the next day, on my terms, with my team, and with pride. That reminds me about our community event. I open another email on my screen. The studio scholarship is approved. It begins next semester. We will support 2 art students with clear need and strong promise. Ellie smiles and nods in pride. "Your mother called it wasteful." "That is exactly why it matters," I say. I stand and stretch tight shoulders. "Any update from our bookkeeper?" "Your father tried charm, then pressure. He laughed when Denise cited harassment." Ellie softens and clears her throat. "There is something else," she says. She hands me a small handwritten note.
Your mother stopped by at lunch. You were at the community workshop. She left this envelope. My name in her perfect cursive. Inside is a tear-stained page full of pleas and missing my daughter. The last line asks for a family meeting at their house and on their terms. My phone lights up with the text. Miss you, big sis. Can we talk just us? Ellie watches me take it in. Your father sent a formal letter, too. He suggests mediation with his lawyer. I laugh once without humor. The tide has turned at last. Friends are asking them hard questions. The community sees the gap now. I look out to the open floor. 2 hires from Tough Starts guide clients with skill and real care. We taught here. Sunlight spreads across the space, new walls built from vision and work. Years after the doubt and silence, it all stands because we did. What will you tell them? Ellie asks. I file the note with careful records. When they want a real bond, one that does not use my work, I will listen, I say. Until then, I guard this. I look through the glass to the lobby. A face I know waits with a number slip. A former friend of Lucas from last year. She holds her card and sits calm. Respect where there was once demand. The mask is starting to crack. 2 weeks pass in steady work. Morning air smells like coffee and hope. I reach Cornerstone Cafe early. Neutral ground of my choosing. Noise enough for privacy and care. I take the corner table with clear lines to both doors. Old habit from years of seeking a sign. I set my leather portfolio in place. Its quiet weight is steadying. Inside are texts, emails, and ledgers. A full record kept with care, not spite. Can I get you something while you wait? The barista asked with a real smile. Black coffee, please, I say with thanks. The mug arrives and steam curls up. Heat rises like a warning in my chest. Through the window, I see them approach. Dad in a pressed polo, shoulders square. Mom fussing with a string of pearls. Lucas strides, but shoots them quick looks. Their tones match in cream and tan, a united front for the room. The bell above the door gives a soft ring. They spot me and something shifts. Dad sets his jaw into stone. Mom stretches a too bright smile. Lucas eyes the portfolio. His gaze lingers on the clasp. Emma dear, Mom begins at the table. I raise my hand and nod to the chairs. Please sit. We will keep this simple. We are meeting on clear terms. They settle and glance at one another. I set my phone to record notes, for accuracy and to avoid flare-ups. Here is what I am willing to discuss. Personal repair and ground rules. Work topics remain off the table. No requests for roles at the studio. No pressure about operations or rates. If we agree, we can continue. If not, we end this now. Silence sits between the mugs. I meet each gaze and wait. Dad clears his chaw first. We can start there, he says slow. Mom nods once, hands folded tight. Lucas stares at the portfolio and says fine. Mom leans in to hug me, but I stay seated. She settles for an awkward pat on my shoulder. This is cozy, Dad says with a thin smile. We would have preferred dinner at home. He lowers into the chair across from me. Family talks should be private. This is not only family, I reply. This touches my studio and my work. Lucas slides beside Dad, perfume strong. We brought muffins from your favorite place. He pushes a bag I do not touch. A server takes orders and slips away. As soon as she leaves, Dad leans forward, hands clasped like a verdict is coming. Blood is thicker than water, Emma. His voice drops to the old command. Family stands together, especially in business. Mom squeezes my wrist and smiles too wide. We have always been proud of you, sweetie. We tell everyone about our brilliant daughter. Artist, I correct him gently. Artist and owner, Lucas adds, for once. Then he launches into a smooth pitch. I thought about last time I pushed too hard, so I drafted a new plan, he says. A consulting role, not management. 3 days a week, better socials, more outreach to corporate buyers. I sip coffee and let the heat settle. Before any proposal, there is news, I say evenly, and open my notes. At an event, the Hendersons asked me when my family joined the studio. All 3 of you went stiff at that. They said they heard we were partners. I opened the portfolio, calm and slow. I told them you were not partners. Dad flushes and starts to deny it. I slide printed post across the table. Mentions of family studio and our practice. Text threads from the Wilsons asking about the family business Mom praised. Mom pales and whispers. It was pride. Pride is not the same as truth, I say. Here is another message. A note from a partner asking why Dad called about joining my studio without me. The cafe hum fills the long pause. Steam hisses at the bar behind us. You have been watching us, Lucas says, as if I am the one who crossed a line. I have been paying attention, I answer. The same care I give my work. While you promised friends free sessions. Dad tries to steer us back to his script. We are here to discuss Lucas' role. There will be no role for Lucas. The words land calm and final. Nor for you, nor for Mom in my studio. Mom clutches her necklace and gasps. After all we have done for you. After all I have done, I reply. I place a ledger on the table. Here is a list of free sessions provided to this family for 3 years, with fair market values recorded. Here are the loans to Lucas. From my first hard years in business, still unpaid by any measure. Lucas' face tightens, and he says, You called them gifts. I said we would sort it out later. It is later, I say, without heat. Dad's mask slips for the first time. You do not expect repayment, do you? After all we have done, he starts. I hold his gaze and let the words fade. This meeting is about truth and respect, not debts I never chased, but boundaries I will keep. Here is what will happen from now on. No claims of family ownership. No introductions that suggest a partnership. No posts that misstate the truth. If you agree, we can keep talking. If you do not, we end here today. Mom looks down. Dad studies the table green. Lucas shifts and taps the bag of muffins. The server returns and sets down plates. No one touches the food or the cups. I breathe once and keep my voice steady. This is my work and my life. I built it, I protect it. Family is welcome in my life, but not in the management of my studio. Silence again, then a small nod from Dad. We hear you, he says at last. It is not triumph, but it is movement. The first honest step in years. I close the portfolio and sit back. Whatever comes next will be on clear terms. You have what I ask level and steady after missing my hooding for a fundraiser, after telling a mentor I was playing at work, until I found a husband to carry the load, After calling my launch just another job, I place both hands flat and breathe once. These are my terms for any future bond. First, my business decisions are mine alone. No input, no hints, no side calls. Second, any family sessions are standard rate. Third, no more claiming partner or owner. Mom blinks hard and tears rise, real ones. You cannot mean this, she whispers. Family respects boundaries, I answer. Family celebrates without taking credit. Dad bristles at the edges of his smile. We never thought you would make it alone. We were trying to secure your future. The truth slips out before he can stop it. Years of doubt laid plain on the table. Autumn's mask drops and envy shows through. You get everything, the title, the praise, the place. What about me, she says, sharp and low. I am stuck while you play hero at work. There it is, the resentment under the gloss. I closed the case with a single snap. I built this while holding up the family. I am not playing and I am not invisible. I set exact change down for the coffee and stand without another word. Behind me are quiet sobs and harsh whispers. Chairs scrape, but I do not turn back. For once, I move forward without seeking nods. Each step lifts the weight from my shoulders. I walk into the light taller than before. A year later, the window holds the city, golden lines across a growing skyline. The view matches the change inside me. My lead knocks 3 o'clock is ready. It's a final session, perfect timing. Warmth spreads as I head for the floor. The lobby hums bright and calm, not the cramped corner where I began. Guests sit easy under framed service awards. The waitlist now reaches 2 months, proof of the reputation earned here. My client greets me with bright eyes. There she is, she says with a grin. I laugh and set the chart aside. The real work was your steady practice. The real work was your steady practice. She waves me off and says, my grandson checked. He says you are the best in town. We move through the last careful stretches. My reflection shows shoulders that have eased. I stand taller and believe it now. Later, 3 new grads join the table, eyes bright with the drive I remember. They ask how to build a practice with care. I tell them start with the people in the room. Listen, measure, and improve. Share credit, protect the work. Keep the books clean and the doors kind. Choose tools that help clients, not ego. And post only what serves the truth. Ellie peeks in with a small smile. Deliveries have arrived for the wing. We roll up sleeves and open boxes. The grads laugh and ask more questions. I tell them about boundaries and balance, about saying no to protect a yes, about learning the hard way and still choosing grace. The same determination that once fueled me now lights their faces around the table. The city glows beyond the glass wall. Inside, the work hums honest and clear. My phone buzzes with a single message, a simple, "We are proud of you," from Dad. No claims, no ask, just words. I do not answer right away. I let the quiet settle in my chest. Then I step back to the floor, where the next client waits with hope, where the team moves with practiced care, where the life I chose keeps growing. I smile at the grads and nod once. Let's get to work, I say, because the future is already here, and we are ready to meet it, on clear terms, with open hands, with skill, patience, and truth. The studio lights glow like small stars, guiding us one careful step at a time. I pick up the next chart and breathe. Steady, centered, and sure. The path is mine, and the work is ours. We move forward together. Not louder, but stronger. Not faster, but truer. And the room answers with quiet strength, like a heartbeat steady and bright. My late-night steady grind returns to mind. The most important lesson is not a technique, I tell the group as I sit on the table edge. It is knowing your worth. In this work, you will give and give. Make sure what you give is respected. After they leave, I review the numbers for our pro bono program. It now serves the underserved at scale, 15% of visits and growing. Last year, that figure would have scared me. Now it fills me with purpose. My phone lights with a text from Leah. my closest friend and peer mentor. Ready for tonight? She asks. It is your turn to share. Nerves flutter, then settle. Tonight I will tell the full story, family storms included. The thought scares me and frees me. Before I go, I check personal mail. Mama sent photos from a garden shift. Her third message this week with no ask. Small steps, but real ones. Dad is still silent for now. Some wounds need longer. Another email is a job note from Lucas, his first role in a corporate office. No link to my studio at all. The tone is calmer than before. A hint of new independence. Evening shadows grow long as I arrive at Leah's home for dinner. Not like my parents' formal table. This room hums with real talk. My chosen circle passes dishes. Laughter works like a bomb. Melissa lifts a glass with a grin. To the one who taught us that holding ground is care, not selfishness. Applause rolls around the table. I think of the new scholarship, the boundary workshop next month, and the launch of our balance program. Dinner ends, and I step outside. Leah's porch opens to the west. Mountains rise steady on the horizon, like the boundaries I now keep. You look peaceful, Leah says. I am. I breathe in the cool air. I can care for clients without losing myself. Tomorrow, I will see an elder client with the same care I once spent at home, only now that care is met with respect. He will look me in the eye and say thank you, and I will know I am seen. I am Emma, I whisper to the ridge, and I help people who value the work. The wind carries the words away, but the truth stays with me. In the morning, the studio will open bright. Clients will arrive with hope, and my team will meet them with skill. The difference now is clear. We work by choice, not pressure. We stand on earned ground. The city settles into evening, and I feel ready for what comes next.